Hi there, it's Karen here from Turquoise Treasures. Welcome back to my channel, and we're going to be working some more in this little envelope, butterfly envelope stack is what I've been calling it. And we're nearly finished the putting the papers on, so we're going to get to move on to do some decorating today, which is going to be really fun. So I think the last envelope that needs to be worked on is this little one at the back. So I have gone ahead and just done a little bit of preparation just to save a bit of time and move things on a little bit. Not very much, but I've chosen my papers and that's really all I've done. This one I had, and I think it's going to just about fit inside here. So I'm just going to see how that goes inside. Yes, and I'm going to tear it across this fold line that I've got here. Make sure I folded it straight. That would be even better, wouldn't it? I'm hoping it's straight now. It's a case of whether I tore it straight in the first place, I suppose. I'm not going to notice an awful lot if it's not dead straight, because I can just trim it. Oh, let's just grab my ruler. Let's see how this looks. I'm just going to follow the line of the... I'm guessing that the lines on the paper are straight, so that's where I'm going to follow, not necessarily where I've folded, which I don't think is that straight. Like that. Oh, don't tear it now. I'm just going to trim that with my scissors to make sure it... Because I was just going offline here. I don't want to lose my straight edge. Unless I do, maybe I'll do the next bit, because this has gone a bit, it's got all torn here, and I'm not sure about that bit, so maybe I can use the next piece, because it doesn't need to be very long. Is that going to fit? It's not really wide enough, is it? Okay, we'll have to put that piece in, I think. Maybe I'll just trim it off a little bit more. We'll lose a bit of butterfly, but that's... so be it. It's only the inside of the pocket anyway. And once we've decorated the rest and put a little card in it, you're not going to notice. At least that line will be straight. Right, just going to ink that top edge. Well, I do. I don't know about anybody else, but I do. Always get it all over my fingers when I try to put these things in the envelopes, but I do prefer to use this glue for slidability as much as anything. Okay, where'd my top go? There it is. Alright, let's pop that in here. And in here, and then we just got to wiggle it in. It's when it gets to that point where it won't go any further, but you're not quite where you want to be. That's when it gets a little bit messy. Come on, in you go. I think we're almost there. I think we are. Okay. Wrap it up there. Okay. We're in. Always a bit tricky, but at least we can. It is easier to do with the wet glue. Not easy, but easier. All right. Just try and get the glue off my hands. They weren't too bad. Right, the next piece I want to use is this gorgeous piece, which I want to put on here. So I'm going to, where's my pencil? I think I'd quite like it to come and just include that bit that says Paris. So maybe I'll just tear across the, just underneath Paris, and then mark the top line. Okay. Put those bits in my scrap box. So that's going to go there. And then just going to mark it there for the top. Oops. Nope, upside down. So that should go there. Now all I've got to do is I'll pop it in the envelope. Hope it doesn't get itself glued to the other piece. As far in as it will go. There we go. So it's right in the envelope, whatever you call it, the pocket of the envelope. And now I'm going to draw around the aperture and up here. That's it. Can I see it? Yes, I can. So I'll just cut around it. And I'm just cutting just a touch inside that pencil line. So it should then fit on there nicely, fingers crossed. Just turn it around at the top. There we go. Let's just see how it's fitting. That's it, that fits nicely there. So I'm going to ink around it and glue it on, and then I'll be back. Okay. Right, that piece is on. And no, I'm not going to put that away. Right, so that's on. And then we just this last little piece, and I've got this lovely bit of green here, which I think will go lovely with this gorgeous butterfly in the corner. So I'm going to mark where I want to tear it. It's pretty much on that line there. And then tear it this way as well. All right. Try and line this up a bit better than sometimes I can be a little bit slapdash with my tearing, shall we say. I end up with a piece of paper that's not the size I was hoping it would be. And there we are, it should be straight now. That's a nice piece. And then this piece. Let's just line it up so that the ruler is in the right place. I keep telling myself I should use the grid on this mat more to line up, and then I forget, and I just get a bit tear happy, and I just do it, and then I realise I've messed it up. I'll try and be better at doing that. All right. Check the size. It's about right. Yep. I'll trim off this little tiny bit on the corner. So same as before, ink it up and glue it on. Right, so there it is. Last little pocket is covered. Let's just have a quick look at what we've got. Sorry. Okay, so we'll just flip it through and see what we've got in the way of colours. I mean, I like seeing the layers building up of alternate colours and different bits, so that it's not so you've got all the colours showing through on these different layers. I really like that. It's such a fun project, it really is. And the other thing I want to do is look at each envelope and see if they've already, if I've got to cut any more and do any more thumb notches to allow for the cards to go in, or journal cards. So there is going to have a journal card there. We're going to need one at the top there. This one opens. It opens this way, and we're going to have something going in here, and then it opens that way, and we've got a window here. So we'll have to have something that looks pretty through there. It looks pretty without having anything in it, but obviously we want to put a nice big journal card of some sort in there. So this one we've already dealt with. Then then we've got our little flippy out thing. So that will need possibly a pocket here or somewhere, not sure yet. This side, we've got to think about, if this is going to be journaling, then having a pocket on the other side could make that difficult, so we'll have to think about that. That might just need a bit of decoration rather than a pocket. Then we've got this one here, and that's a decent sized pocket, which we've left open, so that doesn't need anything doing to it. And then we've got this one, and we've already done the thumb notch there, so that one's all right. And again, we're okay here because we've got pocket open here, so we haven't got to worry about doing any more envelopes or making any more envelopes accessible, because they all are. So yeah, so let's get started on decorating. Right, so I was having a look at this, thinking, well, what do I need to get out ready to do some decorating of this little baby? And obviously I've got some lace nearby, of course, but I also thought I'd like to do something on the front here, and I was toying with the idea of maybe something like a cluster. So I was having a look at my ready-made clusters. So I've got this one, which I think maybe would work. I don't know quite where I'd put it, because wherever I put it I'm going to cover up something pretty. But it would be quite nice to have something like that on there, or even have it kind of angled like that, maybe. So I quite like this one because it's got some quite good contrasty colours, but there are, it's got the red that we've got in here in the ticket stamp. There's a red stamp here, so that would work, and on here. So that actually would work quite nicely. It's got the green. So that's quite nice. I also pulled out this one, which is a bit big, I think, a bit too big, but it adds some contrast. But again, the colours in here kind of tone in with the pinks, with the sort of peachy pinks that they've got in there, that there is in the kit, so that's quite a nice one. Or I could make a new one, and I may end up still using one of these, I'm not sure, but I quite fancy making, what I'd quite like to make is some wax seals that I could then use throughout the journal, whatever it's called, little booklet. I don't know what these things are meant to be called. a fun. Oh, I've had a number of people calling it a flippy floppy book, so I'm going to go. I'm happy to go with that. My flippy floppy book. So I'm going to do a little bit, not too much because I haven't got much wax left. I'm going to do a few wax seals that I might use to decorate with. Because I like making wax seals, and I haven't made any for a while, and I thought I'd make some in some greens, because I did look through my little collection that I've already made, and I don't really have anything with in the butterfly, in the green. I've got a butterfly stamp, but I haven't used it with my green waxes. So it was no brainer. I thought I just got to make some new ones, haven't I? So let's get this started and just melt a few bits. I've used quite a lot of the green, I just haven't used it with the butterfly stamp. So there we go. Get that going. My little holder on there. So this is my little butterfly stamp. It's quite a pretty one. I have used it a lot, just as I say, not with the green. Right, so I've got a dark green here, and I've got a sort of lighter green. They're both metallic, and I've got some bits of gold I could mix in as well. So let's have a play. I just need to get my spoon. And let's go with some of this green, because I think the green, and I know the green in the kit is quite an emeraldy green, and this isn't really, but it might go. I might experiment a bit. Now I've learnt my lesson. I need to use 4 pellets. I've tried with 3 before, and they're never quite big enough. Do I just add in a little bit of the green, the darker green? I think I will. Yeah, let's let those melt and get the next selection ready. So give this a stir. Looks like we might be ready to mix in the colours completely. Alright, let's give this one a go. Pop that up here. It's nice and round. Let's get the stamp in the right direction, not that it matters too much. There we are. Hopefully that will go nicely. Right, I think we're going to go, maybe I should do the light green again, the light green with gold combo for next, and then we'll go dark green. Right, let's get this one. Yep, that's released. I think I need to tighten up the handle. Okay, so that one's all right. Let's see about this one. Oh, I've got a lot here. So this will need trimming, but that's okay. I'd rather it was a bit too big and trim it down than not big enough and then go all thin at one side, which happens sometimes. I've got a big lump at one side and not enough the other. At least I've got some all the way around the circle, so that's all right. And I'll just trim this bit off. And then I just put it back in when I do the next melting. Anything I trim off, I'll put back in my pot and just remelt it and mix it in the next time. Right, so now we're going dark green. Right, let's lift this one. Should be alright to get it off now. That one's come out really nicely, I like that one, and I think the colour actually goes quite well. And obviously it'll go on top of, so it'll be the topper for a cluster, and I think that might be quite a nice one to use. Not necessarily on the front. See how the others turn out. Right, let's give this a little stir. So that was all dark green pellets, this one. So it should come out a completely different colour. Well, not completely different obviously, just darker. Right, this one. Need to release. Being a little reluctant. So that's nice. It's a little lighter than the other one. It's got a touch of gold about it. So I think I just didn't need quite as much wax. Okay, that one's in there. And we'll put these last few in and see how they go. So I've got the 2 more dark greens, and there's still a little bit of dark green left in the spoon, and I've added a white, so I'm just bringing that colour down a little bit, I hope. If it still looks quite dark, I might add another white one. We'll see how it looks. Right, let's see if we can just lift this one, see if it'll come. I think it'll come way okay. There we are. So when I've trimmed it down, that'll be quite a nice one to use. And see how it looks on the green. It's another green, but it might work. I'm not ruling it out. Put that to one side. Let's lift this up. This will also need a bit of a trim, I think. Give it a little wiggle. Get it to come up. Sometimes they seem to come up easier than others. Right, now let's try this final combo of colour. So this has got the white in it. So it'll be a shade lighter than this one. See how it looks. It's not giving me the nice round shape that I like for some reason. Wiggle it a bit to get the round. So make sure I get the wax all the way around the seal, the stamp, seal, whatever. I guess the final thing is called a seal, and the little pellets are called, well, they're wax pellets, and then this is the stamp. So it's just getting the vocabulary right, isn't it? So I know what I'm talking about. So yeah, so that's just got to set. Probably 4 is enough. Could always make some more. I'm less happy with this colour, I think. So maybe I need to make another one more in this colour. Maybe I'll get some more of those, because I haven't got many of those lighter ones left. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll just get a few more of those lighter ones out, so I have got that if I want it. So I think it was 3 of the light colour and 1 of the darker. Although I've only got 4 left, so maybe I'll just use the 4. Just finish them up. My logic is, once I've finished some of these and emptied them out, I can buy some more, can't I? Yeah. Get some different ones. I feel like I can't really justify it while I've still got loads of the other colours left. This is the first one I've emptied. But I haven't got a lot of blues left at all. Or turquoisey blues. I mean, there's hardly any left in there. It's probably enough to do 1 seal. So there's a few colours that I'm really low on. So I need to make some more with the other colours, don't I, really? So I've got 4 of these. And I'm just going to pop them in here. And there was a little tiny piece that must have been left over from a previous one, so I'm going to add that in as well. So it'll be more than I need, but then I'll just, what I've got left in the spoon, I'll just pour that off separately so that that then can be reused another time. Let's have a look at this one. Is it set? Maybe I need to get that a little bit longer. In the meantime, I'll just trim these down a little bit. So that one, I think that one's okay. This one doesn't need trimming, that's fine as it is. I'm just going to lift, see if I can lift this dark green one now. And I'm just going to trim that a little bit as well. Where's the thinnest? Start with the thinnest area and just try and follow that line round. And then it just looks a little more of an even circle. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's just nice to have it a little bit more of an even shape. And I've got these bits to put back in my pot, and just cut them down a little bit, and then I can reuse them. Because I've still got some of the dark green left, so I can just mix that in with the next ones I do in that colour. These a bit. There we are. Okay, that's quite a nice one. Colour's pretty good actually, so it's a really good colour match, that one on here. I think all of them, apart from this one, which I'm a bit dubious about, all of the other greens I think go quite well. That will of course need a bit of trim as well, but maybe I'll do that later. Okay, this is the last one now. There we are. Okay, so then I'll just pull the rest of this out and let that set as well without, it's too small for a stamp, so I'll just leave it as it is. Put it back in my pot and reuse it. Okay, I've just got to just take this off. No, I'll blow it out first, I think. Clean this very carefully because it's very hot. So my kitchen towel is probably the best for this because you can bunch it up and it's thick enough not to burn you while you're cleaning. So here they are, my little wax seals, as you can see. They're all slightly different colours, and I have now trimmed them down so that I've just taken off some of the bulk around the edges. And I think they're really pretty, and hopefully they will, well, most of them will be usable in my little envelope book, flippy floppy book. So I'll just pop those over there because I thought now I need to just make a few clusters to put them on. So I've got a few bits of cardstock that I just tore up. I had a bit of cardstock that I'd been playing around with to try and figure out some pockets that I'd seen on YouTube, and I didn't have much luck figuring it out, so I thought I'd just use the card for some clusters. I only want quite small clusters because you know, it's a small book. That's the bigger one, so I'm just going to just quickly, but I'll probably cut it out, ink around the sides of these bits of paper. They'll be more or less hidden under everything else, but they make a good base, and they're not too thick, but they're quite nice to have as a base to work on. Right, so got those. I would like to use, oops, move that over there. I'd like to use a bit of doily in these. So I've got some doily scraps in my pouch. Well, they may not be the colours that I need, but you never know. Well, clearly the turquoise, but I might have a bit of pink on one of them. And that's a bit of coffee dyed. That's a bit of very pale pink. I'll pick out all these bits, some of these little bits. I don't think I want the turquoise. Right, so that's those. So maybe I can pop a bit on there. Just get rid of all these, that bit. And a bit on there. Little piece on here. And a bit of this pink, just a little bit of pink, just for something different on this one. These back. Right, and then I'd like some lace. I think, oh, I know what I'd like to use. A bit of this, and I can never remember what this is called. But I'd like it very much, and I haven't used it for a while. So I'm going to use a bit of that on a couple of them, I think. Actually, I do have a feeling I've got a scrap of that somewhere, which I really should use. So I really need to dip into my little scraps box. So I'm going to use a bit of that, I think, on one of them, or even two. Oh, here we go. I knew I had a piece of this. So that would go on here quite nicely. And I really like that. Is that going to work? Not sure. Might just pop that there just for a thought. Quite like the idea of a little bit of fabric, but I think it needs to be more contrasting than. Got another little bit of that there. I haven't really got much in here. Oh, there's a bit of green. Maybe I could use a piece of that. How does that look colour-wise? That's not too bad, does it? It's not too green. Might try and use a bit of that. What else have I got in here? Yeah, a bit of cheesecloth. A bit of green sari silk. Don't know if there's anything else that would be. Maybe I could use a bit of that, just for contrast. Or a piece of pink. I'm just pulling things out. I don't know if. Oh, I've got another piece of this. I don't need to cut any more off at all, do I? Right, piece of that. Don't think anything else would work. Okay, got another piece of that. I don't think I need more than that. Probably don't. I'm sure I don't need all of that. I just thought I'd try a few things. Could be a lace there that might possibly work. I don't know. Right, let's see what we've got here. Got a piece of that. And that could go on here. And I'll put a piece of this. Piece of that on here. Don't know how much else I need. They can't be too thick, can they? But I do want a nice one on the front. I think I'll just bring this in, try and see how the colours might go. It'd be nice to pick out a little bit of some of the other colour. A bit of the red or the pink. I've got this bit of pink. Is that going to go? Kinda. This isn't too bad either. I might use a piece of this on one of them. Put that on there. I've got that one. Piece of that on one of them as well, I think. Don't know. I'll put it there just in case. I want to see what else I've got. Because I really want a little bit of another colour coming in. It's a bit too much green now, especially if I've got the green wax seals to go on top. I think I need a bit of something else. I think I might use this on one of them. It's a really lovely piece of corally pink. It's a damask. And that's the shiny side. I think that's the right side to use. Yeah. So I might pop that on there. Let's see what else I've got in my little scrappy box. It's actually quite a big scrappy box. I don't know quite what's in here. I think this is stuff I shoved in here when I moved. It's all small pieces of fabric. I think I want some pink. There's a lot of pink in here, so let's have a look at this bag. It's a pretty pink piece, this like. That's gorgeous. Where'd that go? I think we could use a piece of that. Don't know if I can tear it. Probably not. There we go. Oh, yep. Okay. Oops, just take off some of these longer pieces and pop that on there. We've got a nice little pop of colour. And what we're going to put on there. Put that one on there perhaps. I may not use wax seals on all of these because a couple of the smaller ones, it might be too big. It doesn't mean they can't go somewhere else. Or on one of the pockets or something. Right, one more piece of pink. Is that the right sort of pink? I think it needs to be like a warm pink rather than a cool pink. I've got a variety of bits and pieces here. I think I must have picked out all my pinks for some reason and put them all in this bag. I can't even remember doing it. There's a bit of very pale pink. This is from a charm pack, I think. Oh, there we go. And that's got a bit of the yellow because there's yellow roses as well, so I think that would look quite good on one of them. On there. Because if you look in here, I've got quite a lot of yellow and blue. There's blue as well. Right. So I love this, so I'm going to keep some of these bits of fabric might pop up somewhere else. I'm going to keep some of these handy. Possibly use them to page tabs or other things. Put that away. What else? Let's go for one of these on here. That looks okay. And what about one here? I wonder if we need a pink one. Should I have done so many green ones? Or maybe we'll do something different on one of them. I'll see if I've got any pink ones with the butterfly on. Probably not. Probably all the wrong colours. Let's have a quick look. I have a pink with a sunflower on, which is the wrong pink anyway. Not that one. No. I do have some blue ones. What do I have in the blue? Ooh, it's a blue one with a butterfly. Well, you never know. There is that blue is in the kit. I've got a couple of blue ones. Got the none in the right shade of pink. So I don't think the blue would go on here though, would it? Let's go with that one on there. And I might go with something different on here. The other thing I've been doing as preparation, I've been die cutting and stamping butterflies like a mad woman. Not all of them in the right colours, but I've got quite a nice selection. Because I've got a couple of nice butterfly dies. And I did wonder about using one. So I've done that one and I've glittered it. And I think the colour's quite nice, but I did wonder about putting that on the bottom rather than on this, because it's going to be green overkill, isn't it? And I've got some pink ones, and I'm just wondering whether to put something pink one perhaps on that. Glitter it a bit as well. I do like a bit of glitter on my butterflies, a bit of bling. And I've got another big pink one, and I've got a different green one with a bit of yellow in it. So yeah, I've got a few selections here. It's just 2 dies, so this is a gorgeous die, but it's a tricky one to get the things out of. It took quite a while because it's a lovely die, but it's one of those where they haven't put the hole in the die to poke out, to start getting it out. So you have to kind of dig it out of the die, which doesn't make life easy. But when you've got such a pretty die, you just have to make the effort. Right, so just going to put these here just in case they come in handy at all. I have also got these are little punched out butterflies. That might go on there, I don't know, it might blend too much. It's quite similar. Yeah, I think it's a bit too similar. What about on here? Maybe the pink one will go on here. Because I've got a bit of pink in the background. No, I think I prefer it on there. And that on there, I think. Right. Anyway, so let's go with those. I'm just going to staple them together. I'm just going to do something about cheering up this little butterfly. First, it needs a bit of sparkle. So I have my little box of sparkly bits, but I think I want to glitter it first. So I've got my Cosmic Shimmer Cosmic Twinkles. Love it. I have twinkled up all my butterflies that I punched out. So I just love a bit of twinkle on a butterfly. Right, so I have just quickly dried this little butterfly off so we can carry on and get it finished and put it on the cluster. So I just want to put a little tiny crystal on there. I think that will do nicely. So, into place. That should dry pretty soon. Okay, and then I'm starting to think some of these need just a tiny little touch of lace underneath as well, especially that one. Does need a little tiny bit. And I've got my little lace scrap box out. So maybe this would look okay under here. Let's have a look. Just a little tiny bit. Yeah, I think that would look nice. So you can still see the green through it. It just softens that a bit. I'm hoping I haven't made these clusters too thick to actually go on the journal, or go in the journal book, whatever you want to call it. Right, so I think we will use this. Hopefully it'll work. To attach the lace. And then little butterfly. In the middle, like that. Let's hold it a second just to make sure it all grabs. Hopefully it will. There's one little sweet cluster. And let's do this one. Does this need a piece of lace? I don't think this one does really. I could just have a look, see if it improves it at all. If I can find a thin piece. It needs to be a very thin piece. Not bad. Thin piece here. That help? Yeah, I'm afraid it does. Helps me anyway. I love a bit of lace. It just gives it a little bit of a luxury soft touch. I don't know. I just love it. So yeah, a bit of lace going on. I think I actually am going to have to get the Fabri-Tac to make sure the wax seal sticks on. So let's get that out. So I've got 3 finished clusters and one that I could finish if I need to. Let's see if any of them now will work on my cover. Right, so now now we've got our little cover. I'm wondering if this little pink butterfly cluster would be quite nice there. I think I definitely want something along the edge. Some nice piece of crochet lace or something. I quite like this one. And I like this one, I think. I think it needs to be a narrow one for this one, for this little piece, for this little envelope, because it's quite small. Let's have a look. I think these are all Hobbycraft laces. This is quite a nice one. Because it's got an edge on both sides. So that's quite nice to go along the edge with that. So that's quite nice. Possible. I have this one which has the proper scallopy pretty edge, which is a lovely one as well. Slightly curved, but you just have to glue it into a straight line. I think I prefer that one just because it's got this really pretty edge. Yeah, I'm going to put that on. I'm going to put that on first. Now I've got these little things, these little cabochon things. Oh, I've got one here. It's come out of its moorings, come out of its holder, so I've got to find the right holder for it. It's an oblong one, but that would be a good colour, wouldn't it? That's also made with the wax seals. I'm just wondering where it's come from. Might have come from out of here. Yes, I'm just going to have to glue that back in, I think. Any more that might work. Oh, a couple of bits. There's another green one here. There's a large green one. I think that might be too big, too heavy. I've got a little round one as well. Let's see if I can find a way to make one of those fit. Just got to trim this. Glue this one in. It's not quite dry yet, but I'm wondering how that would look on there. Oops, a bit sticky. Don't know, not sure about that. Might go on the other little cluster though. Right, let's try these. This one I think has possibly got a bit too much card showing now, so I'm just going to trim that down a little bit. Where would they go? I don't really want to plonk it in the middle. I'm just wondering about up in this corner, or even in this bottom corner. Don't know, it's such a busy paper, it's quite difficult to put something on there really, isn't it? I just feel it needs something just to finish it off. Maybe go for something a bit bigger, making a bigger statement. Or a little pink butterfly. Pull out all the loose bits. I don't know, does it need a little something underneath it just to separate it from the background? Maybe it needs a bigger piece of lace. I feel like I'm just going a bit too much on the lace now. I just feel it needs something behind there to separate it from the busy background, something pale. Think, but not too thick. Oh, hang on. Before I do that, I have got this floating around. This piece of lace, which way around is it meant to be? Oh, it's meant to be that way. Not all of it, obviously. But I wonder how that would look if maybe I'll just cut a piece of that and see if that looks any better. Otherwise I'll go searching in my box of neutral fabrics and see if I can find something that might work. It may still be too big, but I can always cut it down a bit more. Just a little. It's either that, I'm not sure about that. Or let's go and see if I've got a nice piece of cheesecloth. That's the word. This is one with quite a close weave, this one. Let's just cut a strip and see. There's so many layers here. Maybe I'll go for 2 layers. I'll cut the whole thing. Just going to cut quite a wide strip, because then it'll give me options as to which cluster I use. Okay, that's too thick, I think. I only need 2 layers of this. This is one long piece, so I'll just double that up. I like this fringy bit at the bottom, so I definitely want to keep that. How big a piece does it need to be? We'll try it with this because I quite like the pink, the flash of pink on the front I think is quite nice. And have another piece about the same size. Doesn't have to be exact. It's all going to be frayed and kind of rough along the edges, so it doesn't matter if it's not exactly the same size. Now, do a bit of fraying here. Just pull it about a bit, get the fraying going. Right, now let's have a look at that nice little piece. Just overlap it a little bit over the lace along the edge, and then pop that there. How about that? I like that better. I like that a lot better. Right, so let's try one or two other options. Well, I think the only other actual realistic option is probably this other small one, which I also like, as it happens, because it has that nice splash of pink there too. Oh dear. It's never a good idea to give yourself too many options, is it? Even if it's only really 2 options. I think this one might be too big. I like that one as well. I don't know, just having that bit of background makes all of them look better in this position. Or this, I think, or that one. think sometimes when you're seeing it on screen, you can clearly see which one looks better, but when you're this close to it, it's harder to make that decision, I find. Sorry, one more try. That one, that, I think this one. I think this one. It was my first instinct, and I think it's the right one. I've just got to make sure that I make this little bit of fringy. I want that to lie flat, so I'm going to have to try and glue it flat. So I think we'll start with this because it's a bit of a lighter glue that won't do it on a slight angle. That's it. I think I might put a little label or something up here, but for now, that's as far as I can go today, because I think we've been here long enough. So I think we'll call that a video for now, and I'll be back next week to continue with decorating this little cutie. Lots more to do, journal cards to make, etc. So I'll be back next week. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.